This is From Destruction to Dignity with Janice Pons. Each week, Janice shares her wisdom to enlighten, educate, and advance the culture in America today. Janice Pons is a mother, author, and free thinker, and your host for our podcast this evening. Now let's join your host, Janice Pons.
Greetings. Come on in here. Welcome. My name is Janice Pons. I am the host on this broadcast, From Destruction to Dignity, Clinical Perspectives, Spiritual Truths. Wow, what a journey we've been on together. It's exciting to me. You know why it's exciting? Because we're getting informed together as we, the people, us forming a more perfect union, which means we're flowing together as one, as represented by our beautiful flag. I love the flag. And our presidential seal. We, the people, it represents us and what we stand for. And so we've been on this fact-finding journey together. And during this month of February, we are grasping together and understanding of one of the major pillars that our taxpayer dollars support. You know, there's millions of us that work, and there's payroll deductions that come out, and those taxpayer dollars support these 5 pillars. Our senior citizens always having their retirement in place, our education system, our military system, the interest on our national debt, and Medicare healthcare. Medicaid is covered by the state. Medicare are federal taxpayer dollars going towards supporting this nation and the citizens thereof that qualify for Medicare. So, is it important to understand about those pillars? They are the infrastructure of our great nation. If it's not, we will implode if those things are not there. And so is it important for all of us, all 340 million Americans, to be supporting each other, everybody pulling their load and making sure that those 5 pillars are supported? We're going to be dissecting that more as we move forward, because these things are not even negotiable. They have to be in place. So we're excited on this fact-finding journey that we're going on together. So we're going to continue our journey of understanding Medicare this month, in the month of February, and we're going to have our clinical perspective as well that we cover. And basically, we're going to be talking about, is it time to see a therapist? Is it time to see a therapist? So before we take a deeper dive into understanding Medicare together, I want to remind you respectfully about 2 months. It's about 2 months left. We've got our prayer services in every state capital. On April the 13th, 2024, we're having our meetups in state capitals all over the nation. The momentum is building. Yes, it is. And that's going to culminate into October the 12th. On the Washington Federal Mall, where we're going to have at least 1 million voices arising, the Mordecais and Esthers. We've been brought into the kingdom for such a time as this. We're having a day of fasting, prayer, praise and worship. It's going to be absolutely outstanding what happens on our Washington Federal Mall. And an integral part of all of that is us having our prayer hubs, our prayer groups, all over the nation that are being birthed everywhere, all over the nation. New ones are popping up. If you want to know how to form your own prayer group or how to get connected with one that's already in your area, you can reach out to me at info@janicepons.com, and I'll be glad to assist you in that area if you desire it. I want to give a shout out to the group in Virginia again. Let's see, Danielle. Hi, Danielle Wingate, who's in Alexandria. They had that prayer walk, and coming up, they had the prayer walk February the 2nd in the nation's capital, prayer, worship, communion. And on the 15th coming up, they're going to have that Mama Bear Day in Richmond. Info at janicepons.com. If you got a particular event coming up, I'll be glad to give you a shout out because we want this movement to grow. Why? We have a great nation that we are supporting together as one. Remember the dates, April the 13th in the state capitals. We've already got our capital here in Oklahoma City in Oklahoma secured, and we're excited about that. And then we have it's all culminating on October the 12th. Put it on your calendar. We're going to be talking about it every week. I'm excited. So as we move forward here, we are going to take that deep dive into the pillar of our nation, Medicare. Tonight, we're going to talk about Part A. Part A. Last week, we just did an overall encompassing view of Medicare, what it is. And so tonight, we're just going to take a deeper dive. We're going to dissect Part A. So Medicare Part A, the pillar of our great nation. What does it cover? It covers inpatient care in a hospital, skilled nursing facility care, nursing home care, which is inpatient care in a skilled nursing facility that's not custodial or long-term. It also covers hospice care and home health care. Medicare Part A. When you first sign up for Medicare, and during certain times of the year, you can choose how you will get that coverage. Now, there are two main ways to get Medicare. There's original Medicare, which is Part A and Part B, or there is a Medicare Advantage plan, which is Part C. Some people need to get additional coverage, like Medicare drug coverage or Medicare supplement insurance, which is also called Medigap. Now, original Medicare, that includes Medicare Part A, which is hospital insurance, Part B, medical insurance, but you can join a separate Medicare drug plan to get the drug coverage, medication coverage, Part D. Part D, D for drugs. You can use any doctor or hospital that takes Medicare anywhere in the United States to help pay your out-of-pocket costs in original Medicare, like that 20% coinsurance factor. You can also shop for and buy supplemental coverage. Now, if you don't get Medicare drug coverage or Medigap when you're first eligible, you may have to pay more later. This could mean you could have a lifetime premium penalty for your Medicare drug coverage. So what does that say? That just tells me we need to pay attention to dates. Now, here's a question that comes up, because I remember when it was time for me to think about Medicare. Oh, Medicare, I'm getting older, Medicare. Yeah, that part. Does it cover what I need? So there are ways to find out if Medicare covers what you need. Have a relationship or a discussion with your doctor or healthcare provider about why you need certain services or supplies. I have an amazing relationship with my doctor. It is amazing. And it's wisdom to have that. So you ask Medicare, you ask if Medicare will cover them. You may need something that's usually covered, but your provider thinks that Medicare won't cover it in your situation. You need to have conversations. If so, you'll need to read and sign a notice, and the notice says that you may have to pay for that item, that service, or that supply. We're talking about getting informed so you can make strategic decisions. Also, find out if Medicare covers your item, your service, or that supply. Now, Medicare coverage is based on three main factors. They're federal and state laws. Got to have order. There's national coverage decisions that are made by Medicare about whether something is covered. Actually, I was really just like, wow, blown away when I saw how much it covers. We'll get into that in a minute. Something else, local coverage decisions made by companies in each state that process claims for Medicare, that's a part of the flow of what happens. These companies decide whether something is medically necessary or should be covered in their area. So the bottom line is what you need, your test, your item, your service, is it covered? Now, Medicare does cover many tests, items, and services. It depends on where you live. The list, now, I was kind of blown away when I saw the list. Actually, it was 6 pages. You know, I'm just going to kind of put it up here. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Okay. From A to B to C, I think I've got 6 pages of things that it covers. I was like, huh? I didn't know this. I did not know this. I'm just kind of giving you just like, oh, yeah. It's a lot. It's worth going online to see. From surgeries, all kind of therapies. I could go on and on. I'm not even going to start naming them. I thought I'd try to name them, but A to X, something's on this list. This list shows many, but not all of the items and services that Medicare covers. But let me tell you, it's a lot. Now, there are some things that it doesn't cover. Nursing home care. Medicare doesn't cover custodial care if it's the only care you need. Most nursing home care is custodial care, which helps you with activities of daily living like bathing, dressing, using the bathroom, and eating. Yeah. Or personal needs that could be done safely and reasonably without professional skills or training. Now, Medicare Part A, hospital insurance, may cover care in a SNF, a skilled nursing facility. It must be medically necessary for you to have that skilled nursing care. That would include things that it would be necessary for you to have the medical attention for life-changing sterile dressings, recovery from a stroke, recovery from surgery, accidents, or significant illnesses. Unfortunately, Medicare doesn't cover my massage therapy. Yeah. Hi, Jen. Shout out to my massage therapist, Jen Buchanan. Absolutely amazing. Now, you pay 100% of non-covered services, including massage therapy. You know, massage therapy is a part of self-care. It is vital for me. Yeah. So we're talking about Medicare Part A, that hospital. In most cases, Medicare doesn't cover dental services like routine cleanings, fillings, extractions, or items like dentures. But it may cover certain dental services you get when you're admitted as a hospital inpatient for your dental procedure, either because of your underlying medical condition or the severity of the procedure. Specific inpatient or outpatient dental services directly related to certain covered medical treatments. In those cases, you must get the dental service because it's linked to the success of the medical treatment that you may need. Like, for example, an oral exam and dental treatment before you get a heart valve replacement or bone marrow organ or kidney transplant. So we're talking about an overall comprehensive assessment by a medical team, your healthcare professional, to determine what you need. And they can document it and they just say, hey, they need this. And then it's assessed and determined if it's covered. For example, a procedure like a tooth extraction to treat a mouth infection before somebody gets treatment for cancer, like chemotherapy or whatever route a person decides to pursue. Treatment for a complication you experience while getting head and neck cancer treatment services. So, an assessment, overall comprehensive understanding of the particulars of what a person is dealing with. Our taxpayer dollars are helping to support this. Then we have Medicare Advantage, also known as Part C. Medicare Advantage is a Medicare-approved plan from a private company that offers an alternative to that original Medicare that we have discussed for your health and drug coverage. Now, those are bundled plans. We alluded to that at the beginning of the month. And usually those plans, they include parts A and B, and usually D as well. Now, in most cases, you'll need to use doctors who are in the plan's network. That makes sense. But so many doctors are in these networks and plans. Plans may have lower out-of-pocket costs than the original Medicare. We're talking about that Advantage, Part C. Plans may offer some extra benefits that original Medicare doesn't cover, like vision, hearing, and dental services. Yeah. So what we've looked at, we're on a fact-finding journey together. Yes, we are, my fellow Americans, my brothers and sisters in Christ, all 210 million Christian Americans. Just 210 million Christian Americans. There's 340 million Americans, of which 210 million are Christian Americans. And there are 240 million Americans that we are living paycheck to paycheck. Now, that segues me into our clinical perspective tonight. It's stressful living paycheck to paycheck. Oh, yeah. Car payments, insurance payments, high cost of food, keeping gasoline in the car, children's activities. Do y'all want to go to the movies? How much does it cost for a family to go to the movies? Oh, we're paying back student loans now. Yeah. Savings account? Oh, does anyone have the ability to save? It's a lot going on in our nation. 240 million Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Is every American contributing to Medicare? Good question. Because of all these stressors that are going on, a lot of our fellow Americans they are overwhelmed and they need help. So, from a clinical perspective, let's dive into some things. Is it time to see a therapist? And a therapist is covered through Medicare. Yes. Mental health services, inpatient mental health, outpatient mental health, and IOP, intensive outpatient. Mental health is often treated as taboo, and many people aren't comfortable discussing it, even if they think there are signs that they need a therapist. We need to take that stigma away. Seeking therapy and counseling has been stigmatized and labeled as something that's what mentally unstable people need. The stigma often stops people from seeking help, but the reality is that seeing a therapist can be very beneficial to a person's overall health, emotional health, physical health, and their overall well-being. And guess what? Seeing a therapist can also be instrumental in you not getting physically ill. Yes, yes, yes. People seek therapy for daily stressors, mental health issues, relationship problems, or odd habits. It can be helpful for a wide variety of issues. Now, what are some signs that would indicate that someone may need therapy? It is not a weakness to need therapy. I've told y'all I've gotten therapy. It changed my life. I'd been traumatized. Let's start there. It changed my life. That and the support group. I am a strong advocate of the therapeutic process. I know many people that are in therapy, and I've encouraged many to pursue it, and they're like, girl, thank you. Yes, you're welcome. Medicare covers it. And most insurance is covered as well, because the insurance company is investing in you and your wellness, and it's going to alleviate the chances of you getting sick or spiraling out down the road if it's not addressed. So here's some signs that you may need therapy, just for consideration, okay? Having relationship problems. Relationships require a lot of effort and work. Yes, they do. If you've ever been married, you know what I'm talking about. They can often become strained if issues just, they're unresolved, they're not addressed, they build. What can therapy do regarding relationships? It can help improve communication. Imagine that. Improve communication, resolve conflicts, and work through these hard patches, hard spots. There are a variety of couples therapy techniques that are very powerful. Solution-focused therapy, where you're focusing on solution building rather than problem solving. Narrative therapy that involves both partners. You're asking them to narrate their relationship problems. This helps to understand both sides of the story. It's always two sides of a story. And these are therapies that focus specifically on couples. And then there's something called Imago therapy. I'm going to tell you, this is huge, huge, huge. And this is a culprit. This is that underlying festering that goes on in a lot of couples and relationship issues, is that their childhood experiences that have impacted adult relationships, unresolved trauma. So they have childhood trauma that's never been addressed, and they can't figure out why they keep doing the same things over and over again that are detrimental to relationships and their own well-being. Unresolved trauma, childhood trauma, trust issues, trouble understanding each other. Therapy can help. Now, let's say somebody suffers from anxiety. That doesn't mean you lost your mind. It means you're dealing with anxiety. Yeah. Being anxious can feel like a normal response to a stimulus for someone that is dealing with fear and worry, but it's constant. People with anxiety disorders, they're easily overwhelmed, very easily overwhelmed by their emotions, and they tend to be particularly hostile in their reactions to certain feelings and situations. Therapy can help you. This is what it does. It's powerful. I've walked people through it. I walked through it myself, and it's like, whoa, I got delivered. I got set free, but I had to find out. And I want to encourage us all to find out, uncover the underlying causes of our worries. People can have panic attacks. They can have fears. They're underlying causes. Do you deserve to get to the bottom of that thing? I say you do. We can learn to look at things in a less terrifying way and to find coping mechanisms and problem-solving skills. You know, I'm always talking about strategy, skills, and tools. Strategy, skills, and tools for wellness and recovery. Let's say your sleeping pattern gets off. Insomnia can have a massive effect on your health and well-being. Oh God, I know people, they can't sleep. Sleeping disorders often have underlying causes. Do our fellow Americans deserve to get to the bottom of that? Seeking a therapist can help you to address those underlying festering problems that are not just the symptom. Therapy can help develop healthy sleeping patterns. There's a sleep hygiene that you can learn to master. It works. Your well-being and your stability will go to another level. I've seen it over and over and over again. There's something called CBT. I love doing CBT. Cognitive behavioral therapy is very effective. It's a non-drug treatment that addresses insomnia. And what it does, it addresses negative thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. Thoughts affect what you believe, and what you believe affects what you feel, and what you feel, it all affects your choices and your behavior. Now, another reason a person may benefit from the therapeutic process, they've had recent trauma causing PTSD, recent trauma. There are life-threatening events that happen, assaults, accidents, abuse, natural desires, and they cause trauma. So a person may be having intrusive thoughts. You're not crazy. You haven't lost your mind. You're having intrusive thoughts and memories, nightmares, avoidance issues, insomnia, changes in thinking and changes in your mood, even self-destructive behavior, overeating, eating at 11 and 12 o'clock at night. Sometimes it's related to unresolved trauma. Oh, yes, it is. I've seen it over and over again, and I've seen it get addressed and people get well. A traumatic incident can activate your body's fight or flight response, making you hyperactive, where things, sounds, or situations can easily trigger you. Therapy can help you make sense of the traumatic event. It's like, oh, I never connected the dots. Sometimes that revelation right there takes you to a level of freedom. I've seen it over and over again, my precious fellow Americans. You learn how in the therapeutic process is so powerful. I've seen the Holy Spirit meet people front and center in these settings where they learn how to navigate these intense negative thoughts and emotions that build up, and they feel like they can't cope. You can learn to dissect those things. Do we deserve that as Americans? Then you learn how to reconnect with other people in your life. You learn how to reconnect with yourself. You learn how to reconnect with God. Yes. I love this. Some of us need grief and loss counseling. Heavy, dark emotions that just won't go away. Oh yeah. Loss and grief counseling. There's a place here in Tulsa called Tristesse. Deals specifically with that. It's powerful. You have groups and specific counseling for people that have lost a child. Yes, lost a child, lost a spouse. There is a specific type of therapy for that. If you have confidence and self-esteem issues, there's counseling for that. Therapy, the therapeutic process can help with that. You explore and navigate those feelings and discover the origin of issues. Cognitive restructuring, cognitive reframing is generally used in self-esteem issues. What does it do? It helps you to locate, challenge, and modify irrational thoughts. It helps you to accept who you are. It helps you to get to the root of some things. Yes. You feel like you lost control? That ever happened to you? If you feel like you're struggling with rage and anger, being passive aggressive, you should seek therapy to live a better and happier life. Therapy can help with those impulse control issues. Yes. Addiction, harmful substances, drug addiction, identify behaviors, habits, thoughts that lead to addiction. Feeling low and helpless? Oh yeah, therapy can help with that. Final thoughts, beginning therapy may help develop positive coping mechanisms to do what? Deal with life challenges in healthier and more productive ways. What have we looked at tonight? A lot. We are on a journey, a fact-finding journey in our great nation. There is no more I don't know. This podcast is about empowering us with knowledge, education. What we've looked at tonight is Medicare Part A. We're going to continue our journey next week as we go from destruction to dignity. And yes, we will have a clinical perspective. I'll see you next week. Good night. God bless you. Good night.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of From Destruction to Dignity with Janice Pons. Janice's mission is to provoke thought, bring awareness, and point people towards intervention when needed. As a reminder, this show is not therapy, but for educational purposes only. For more information, check out JanicePons.com or follow her on social media.
Education, affirmation, dedication, information, revelation. A new nation. We are God empowered. Strength is ours. Liberty, been set free. Education, affirmation, dedication, information, revelation.